Welcome to the Ellie and Jared channel. It's been a while since we've had a video go out that talks about us and what's going on in our lives, so we thought it'd be really fun to do a catch-up Q&A. You ask the questions and we have the answers, and we don't want to take any more time, so let's just jump right into the very first question. And it's a question
that we've had a lot, especially since the move.
Yes. Do you and Bonnie and Jared and Joel still have the land? The answer to that question is yes, we still have it. Initially, we all thought it would be a really great idea to build on that property. Over time, it has come clear to us that it's probably better as an investment property, something that we can hold on to for a long time and just see what happens to it. We might build something on it in the way future, or it might be developed for something else.
We all came to that decision well before we even
decided to move. Yeah, so we have the land, still not quite sure what we're gonna do with it, but we're holding on to it for dear life. Will the home you're building be your forever home, or do you even know?
I will let you answer as well. When people would ask us in Logan, like, is that your forever home? I would always be like, oh yes, absolutely. But in the very back of my head, I always thought, but it might not be, maybe someday we'll move somewhere warmer.
And I think that's like a lesson that we have learned is
nothing's forever.
Exactly. Plans can change, things can happen. So we might build it with the idea of we are gonna stay in here for a long time, so let's build it that way. But it's okay for things to change. Change happens, and it's good to be willing to adopt and adapt to change. So we're gonna build this home like it's gonna be our forever home, but we might not live in it forever.
Yeah. If I'm being very honest though, I believe that we're
planning on it.
I don't see us building and selling and like it's draining. It's a lot of work. I really do feel like we are gonna be in this home for the long haul.
Here is a question that I think a lot of people are asking of Ellie, and something that I want to know because I ask every single day, and I don't know if she's telling the truth.
Of course I am.
Are you happy?
Am I genuinely happy? Absolutely.
I think this is the answer right here.
I think people can see it for both of us.
Absolutely.
Through Instagram, through stories, through photos. Like, I genuinely am happy. It is the middle of winter and we took the dogs and kids to the park and threw a ball, and
it's 60 degrees outside right now.
I'm genuinely happy. It really does boost my mood when I look outside and the skies are blue. How many days of
300 plus days of sunshine in the year. And I think one of the coolest things is that you guys see that in Ellie, just in her stories and photos. You can see and you say that you're glowing, you're happy, I love it. And I think one thing is, it's cool to see that, but it also kind of makes me sad that people could kind of tell that you weren't feeling all that great, probably leading up to when we decided to move. There's so many emotions that go along with that, deciding to move, family, all of that stuff. But I think everyone, including our family, is very happy that we've done what we've done what we've done.
It's been a different year for everybody. Obviously, 2020.
Yeah.
It's been a really different year because we kind of like slowed down with YouTube for a minute. Then we moved. Now we're adjusting, and now it's the new year. And we are really excited. Like, I filmed Christmas Eve and Christmas. I feel like we're getting our pep back, and we're like feeling much better. And it never was about YouTube's overwhelming. It was about, we need to figure out like our emotions and ourselves for a minute, and that was really hard, and I genuinely am happy.
And I'm glad that we took the time to do that, because I think a lot of people wouldn't, and they would just keep trucking along, because sometimes they can't, and I feel really grateful that we had the opportunity to do so and that we jumped on it.
Pool in the new house. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes.
If we're gonna be living in a place where it's this warm all the time,
120 degrees in July,
we have to have a pool.
Yes.
We have to. So that's the plan.
The amount of money that we spent to do all of the rock work,
oh my gosh,
in our last house was what it cost to put a pool in.
So would you rather, Ellie and Jared in 2016, think about this. Would you rather buy tons and tons of rocks or a pool?
At the time, I knew what we were getting into, and that was fine, but I am very excited to have a pool.
We've been working with a landscape architect to help us design where the pool's gonna be, what it's gonna look like, and we are so thrilled, and we can't wait to show you when it's all done. Next question, how soft are the Bali robes?
I should have ran and grabbed a robe before
We'll go around and grab a robe.
So soft, I love the print. Guys, you see me in my stories all the time wearing the robe. This really is the perfect robe. It's so stretchy, it's just my favorite. It's very soft.
Everyone that we know that has a Bali robe
Loves it.
lives in the Bali
Your guys'
robe.
reviews are so sweet about it too.
Have either of you picked up any new hobbies since the move?
I drink more soda.
Ah! That's what I'm trying to avoid.
I know. I've picked up definitely a hobby. I go walking a lot. At night when the kids are in bed, it'll be just me and Copper, or me, Jared, Copper and Penny, and the kids will go on a walk.
So Ellie does that. Something that's happened recently is I've been playing games on Tuesday nights with my high school buddies. So that's been really fun for me. It's not necessarily a new hobby, but it's a new routine that I've done. So it's actually tonight. So we're gonna play tonight.
What did I say today on our walk? Isn't it amazing when you change your routine?
Yeah.
You're so used to your repetitive like dailiness, but then when we moved, it all of a sudden triggered us to be like, oh, well, we can do this. And it's just been really fun to have moved, and it just literally you start over and then you like make new
routines and plans.
And I like our new routine. It feels a little bit more laid back, and I like that.
Oh, good. This is a really great question, and we thought about this quite a bit. What are some things you realized that you didn't love about your first house that you'll be doing different? What are your thoughts?
Our new house is extremely similar to our old house plan because we loved our old house plan so much. I actually read a new 2021 house trend is no longer will it be open concept because of like the way people need their homes to be more like homeschooling and all this stuff.
I can see that.
And when I read it, I was like, it's just an article that they just threw together. I will always have an open concept home. I think it makes the space feel bigger. I really love that. It's very similar.
The living room, kitchen, dining area, I think
it's like identical.
Yeah. But one thing that I didn't love necessarily is that when you were coming in from the backyard, it was the dining table. You walked right into the dining table. There was not really a place to leave your shoes.
We always had to move the dining table in when the kids would come in.
Because they'd hit the table. So we're going to have a little mud area, closet area from the backyard that's gonna make it so much cleaner, you know, with lockers and that sort of thing. So do we have two mud rooms, or does the garage connect to that same place?
The garage connects to it.
So yeah, the garage and the backyard are connected that way.
Which is really good because in Logan, the backyard didn't connect to the mud room. And so the kids are always running through the kitchen to get there. And
so I think that's one thing that we're doing differently that we really like now. Don't get me wrong, I love the house before, but that one thing I think makes a pretty big difference. Especially kids coming in from a pool!
I'm so excited! We miss our hot tub. I like really want to invite myself over to Dan's house and say, can we come use your hot tub? I know he's a really nice guy. I don't want him to say yes.
Do you want me to call him? Call Dan.
Hey, what's up?
Hey Dan, how's it going?
Great.
Hey, you know, I was talking with Ellie and we were just feeling a little blue about our hot tub. You know, we had this amazing hot tub back in Logan, and we were just thinking, we know it's the holidays, we know it's COVID, but maybe one of these days we could sneak into your backyard the way Zach did, and we could jump into your hot tub sometime. What would you think about that?
Anytime.
Oh!
I knew you'd say that, but that's just because you're nice. But I'm being serious. After Christmas.
Not even home though, I'm in.
Okay, thanks Dan. We appreciate you letting us use your hot tub. And if your security system goes off, I'm sorry, that's probably us.
All right, just don't be naked for my cameras until you're in the pool.
Okay, perfect, got it. All right, Ellie, your wish is my command. I got you a hot tub.
Again, is he just saying it because he's a nice guy?
He might, and that's the thing is like, I never know, is like, am I asking too much, or is Dan just genuinely happy to have us here?
He's really nice.
He is. Dan and Leslie are probably some of the kindest people I have ever met on planet Earth. And I don't
say that lightly.
Yeah, it's true.
They really are.
Next question. How is Ellie's eye pain?
I'm so glad you asked. You know what's frustrating is when people ask how it is. I'm like, it's so good. And then the next day I'm like down. My parents had come into town and my dad, I was doing so well. And then he saw me wearing my like warmer beaded eye mask a few times. And he's like, oh, Ellie. And I'm like, it just hit me. For the most part, I would say instead of getting a migraine, literally every day I have to at least lay down for 20 minutes. It's probably once a week or every other week.
Yeah,
now.
I would say every other week. It's to the point where I have noticed a huge difference in Ellie's pain, her daily life. Like, I have noticed a huge change, so I think that's a huge plus.
I've done a few things. I got a nerve block done, and that, I've not talked about it yet. I laid on a chair, and I had to have my head back like this. They squirted lidocaine, which is numbing medicine, in each nostril, so then it would drip down into my throat.
And
like
numb the whole area.
So it was very uncomfortable, and like this the whole time. And then they put like a COVID tester almost.
Yeah, so they dripped it all the way back to the back of her nose and were able to squeegee some stuff in.
And then they would put a drip down for 15 minutes. A drip would be hitting a nerve that was medicine.
Yeah.
And that was the way it was done. I thought a nerve block was like a shot. I would much rather have a shot. In the middle of getting this procedure done, I had an anxiety attack, and I have not had one of those in a long time. I couldn't help it. I felt like a 2-year-old. Like, my legs were kicking. I was like trying to like meditate in my head. Though it did help. I could say
Absolutely.
It helped.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, that's like a turning point where I noticed a big change in lack of migraine.
Instead of getting a migraine, I'd be like, great, I'm gonna get a headache. And then I'm like, oh, that's it? My head hurts? Sweet. Like, it calmed things down so much.
Curbed a lot of it.
And then I'm very consistent on eye drops. These are the eye drops I use. I use these 4 or 5 times a day, and that's helped a lot. And then at night, I always heat this up and I lay in bed for 15 minutes, and that feels so good to me. And then the medicine I take is sumatriptan, and I only have 3 left, so
time for a refill.
I've gone through a bottle, but I feel like I'm getting there. I have another eye procedure that I'm gonna do in a week, and I'm gonna really see if that helps.
What are you most excited to do with this house that you couldn't do with the Logan house?
I am so excited for the garage placement. Instead of pulling up to the garage and front door, I've always wanted to be able to pull up and just see the front of the house and the garage on the side, and that's what we're gonna be able to do, and I'm excited about that.
That's something that Ellie wanted to do when we first built it. She wanted the garage on the side, and it was just too narrow at our first house. But we're on a corner, so you can literally drive around the house and pull in. And I think that also gives us more garage space as well that's not tied to the house. I really like having an office that is set off from the house. Physically, it's attached to the house, but you have to exit the house in order to get into my office. Over time, we'll see how that goes, but right now I'm very excited. One thing about living in this place is that it's a lot smaller. There's a lot of movement in and out of my office, which distracts me a lot from what I'm doing.
I don't think people realize how much Jared is on his phone, like talking with companies. He's on the phone a lot. And it's really hard when you've got little kids running around when you're working from home. There is a huge luxury and a huge perk of being able to work from home. I would say the biggest con is I think people think, oh, you just work from home. It's so hard because it's confusing to the kids. Having them understand that most people go outside of the house and work. So like, I can't play all day, but let's take a break and play, but then dad has to go back to work.
Right. And I think a lot of people are finding that with COVID, a lot of people are working from home. They see those distractions, something that I've experienced for the last 6 years. But doing it in a smaller house, it's made those interruptions more frequent. Not a bad thing. My dad did the same thing for 30 years. I grew up with my dad working from home. He was self-employed. And I did the same thing that my kids are doing. Dad, can we go play catch? Dad, why didn't you do this? Dad's on the phone, you gotta be quiet. That kind of stuff. He worked from home for 30 years and he still does. So a lot of people are getting more familiar with that this year. But that's just one thing that I'm excited about.
We have this question a lot. What is one positive thing that has happened to your family due to the pandemic?
First off, I have to say, I hope that you guys are as healthy as possible during this time. I know a lot of people are impacted by this, so thinking of anything positive due to the pandemic is really difficult to do. So I think it's very important that we say, we hope you're healthy, we hope you're staying safe, and we hope you're as happy as possible during this time. And our thoughts and prayers are with you if you're struggling right now. There are lots of times where you can find positive things out of negative. And I think one thing for me is, even though we've worked from home for so long, this has definitely given me an appreciation of my time at home. Mm-hmm. And I think I spend more quality time with the kids, even before when I was in the same environment before the pandemic. I have more quality time with the kids than I did before.
It has caused us and everyone, the world, to slow down.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was what I was striving for last year, when it was like, I just need to take a break from YouTube for a minute. Like, I didn't know how to curb my anxiety. Mm-hmm. And the only thing I could think of was like, I just have to stop everything. Do I have to like start over and like cut out like work at like everything and just
start fresh?
And I feel like the pandemic has forced people to slow down. Mm-hmm. And even when this goes away or lifts or whatever, I hope that everyone can take that slowing down pace with them and continue doing that. How many people are so excited that they just were able to have more family time during the holidays, and oh great, now I don't have to go to my aunt's house, now I don't have to go to grandma's. But it's true that it causes people a lot of stress, and it's like, so don't do it next time. Even if you can, because the restrictions are lifted, do what you want to do. Stop worrying about other people's feelings. You need to be happy in your own home first. Yeah. And that's what we're learning is, like, I feel like we've always been happy, mm-hmm. but I feel like I'm so much more content. And yeah, I feel like this year has really helped me
reevaluate the most important things in life. And family is obviously super important to us, but also our inner family, just me, Ellie.
Oh, the biggest.
And I hope that's one thing that we take out of this, is like Ellie said, is we're able to reevaluate our priorities, reevaluate things, and make positive changes going forward. This is a question that we definitely get a lot. Are you guys trying to conceive? And if so, how's that going? And will you vlog that journey?
We have had quite a few clips that we have vlogged over the last year. Mm-hmm. We've probably had 3 pregnancy tests that we have filmed that were not positive. And I honestly didn't want to include them in the vlogs at the time, but I figured we'd show them eventually when things change.
Yeah.
But one of them was more emotional than the others, and it was the day after we moved into this place. Mm-hmm. I knew without a doubt I was pregnant. Like, I just knew I was. Mm-hmm. And when it was negative, I was just like, I had no words. I didn't even say anything. I was just like, okay.
Just like that. Mm.
Yep. We definitely were trying the beginning of the year, and technically aren't we always trying? Like, I'm not on birth control. I don't have an IUD, but
you have a built-in birth control. It's called infertility.
But
it's funny, but not.
I mean, we're just not right now.
Yeah.
Is what I should say.
Yeah, right now it's not something that we're actively pursuing, is having another baby. And I think we both know that it's going to come eventually. But I think we will vlog the journey, but it'll be a lot different than it has been before. And that goes back to our last question. It's reevaluating how we do things, when we do things, and just the whole change in how we've been doing YouTube in general. There's been so much change in our life, and I think filming something like that will be a little bit different too. So I think we will film some stuff, but
Absolutely.
I don't think it'll look anything like Jackson or Calvin's pregnancy journey.
Yeah. But we definitely won't keep you out of the dark, because we love sharing, and
I think it helps
important
people.
to us.
Yeah.
And we will share. Like, normally 2 years ago, Ellie and Jared, we would have shown all 3 of those. Mm-hmm. And it's not that I don't want to share them, it's just not right now. And I'm learning I don't have to do it right in the moment. I can wait and do it when I feel more comfortable.
How has it been living in a smaller space?
So we probably live in about half the size of what our house was in Logan. Mm-hmm. And honest to goodness, I'm not trying to be cheesy with you guys. Every place we have ever lived, we have made home. And I've loved every place we've ever lived.
Absolutely. And
I love this. It felt like home the moment we moved in because we set up our stuff and I treated it like my home. I clean this place like I clean my home. I don't let my kids shove yogurt in the carpet just like I wouldn't let them shove carpet in my home. You know what I mean? Like, I treat it nice, and I think maybe because I treat it respectfully, I love it.
You feel it like that. Yeah, and I think it also goes to the fact, like, we looked for this place so hard. We tried finding a place that would hit the things that we were looking for. So we had an appreciation of this place before we walked in. And I think that's one of the coolest things is it's made it so that we're not feeling like we're in a rush to build the house. We love staying here. So if we have a delay here or there, which happens when you build.
It's already happened. I'm like,
and that's another video we'll get into. We don't feel so bad because it's like we're in a really, really great place. We love it here. We're comfortable.
But with that, my mom said, oh, so then you should change up your square footage on your house plan. I said, I don't love it that much.
It has been 1 year since you said goodbye. Our
goodbye video.
Ellie and Jared Say Goodbye. What's the biggest benefit and sadness that came with it? So I feel like we had two goodbyes. We said goodbye to YouTube in the sense that we're not doing daily videos or Monday through Friday videos anymore. And then we said goodbye when we moved. I think as hard as it has been, like I miss capturing a lot of the moments. I still capture moments.
Oh, it's like a reflex. It's really hard to not say, oh, where's the camera?
Yeah, I love creating like memories out of those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know how for 6 years we had a video go out every single day through miscarriage.
I don't know how.
Through despair, turmoil, through some of these amazing moments.
I don't know how.
It's literally, it's like, wow, that was a blur. I don't know how we did it. But we are so grateful that we did. Eternally grateful that we did.
And so then when we took our goodbye video, it really was, it was a morning. We were saying goodbye, and it's taken us dang near a year to go back to being like, okay, we are in control of what we do. If we want to make a video, we will. And that's hard for me because I really loved vlogging.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue vlogging. It's just a little different. And
it's finding that balance.
It's hard for me because I have created such a good relationship with you guys. And I don't want to make anyone feel bad. I don't want to have anyone think that it was the videos that I just hated.
No.
It was just this phase of life, this young mom that I'm in, that I just felt like I just needed to breathe for a minute. And honestly, thank you for your patience because we feel so good right now. And that's why we're sitting down doing a Q&A.
Exactly. And I think you said it
Thanks for supporting me.
Well, and I think that's one thing that as a couple we've been able to do really well is, I'll admit it took me longer than I should have, but we were able to adapt and make changes to better ourselves. It was difficult at first. Like Ellie said, I don't want to squander this relationship that we took 7 years to build up. The relationships that we've had with each other, even if it's through a camera, it's like that relationship was and is real to us, and it still is to this day. So saying goodbye was very difficult, and it wasn't like Ellie said, it wasn't like, oh, finally we're done. That's not it at all. But we had to make a change, and this was the first thing that we had to do. Refresh,
restart. It's been a beautiful year for me and Jared. And I feel like no marriage is perfect. I feel like we've always had a very unique and good relationship. And I feel like this year really was a turning point for me and him.
Yeah.
And so if taking this break was to like help me refocus anxiety and figure out my eye stuff, and for me and you to grow closer together, like we'll take it.
Absolutely. And I think it's cool. It's like we've never really had troubles in our marriage, but this whole thing just strengthened it even more.
Yeah.
And I love that. Take opportunities to strengthen your marriage where you can.
It was hard. We said no to income. That was hard.
That was hard. But
to
it
be
was
like, okay, we're gonna take a break and see how we feel. And I mean, this is really hard and vulnerable for us to like openly talk about. So
I hope that answers that question. What is Ellie's phone percentage at? No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
It's above 10%.
It's at 67%. Never in my life have I seen it above 60%, let alone 10%. It's red all the time.
I charged it while I put Tommy down for a nap today.
You knew that question was coming,
Maybe.
didn't you? Did you know?
Maybe. It's always dead. It's always dead.
Would you consider living in a tiny house or going minimalist? Is this minimalist enough? No, I don't think we would ever consider moving into a tiny house.
To live in.
What I would love to do is to build like an A-frame cabin and either like rent it out.
And have it be so minimal.
Yeah, and just very simple, very cute, beautiful, tough, manly, and visit that every once in a while and then rent it out. I think that would be so fun to do. Hip update. So last where I left you guys off, I had the hip injection done. The first 2 weeks of that were the worst 2 weeks of hip pain that I've had in years. After the 2 weeks, it got quite a bit better to where my pain level was a lot lower than it was before the injection, which is great. That's exactly what we want. My doctor referred me to get some physical therapy done. The last time I had physical therapy done, it only hurt things more and it didn't help. So I'm actually in the process of getting a second opinion about my hip. So that's where I am, and I'll honestly probably wait.
Because it is about the structure and not just the muscles.
Yeah. Getting a second opinion, if I have to do physical therapy, I will, because that's what I wanted to do, was physical therapy. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not opposed to it. I just think I would like a second opinion. But that's the last question that we had. A lot of the same questions were repeated. So I hope that gives you guys an idea of where we are in our life. We are so excited to start the house process. There's gonna be tons of videos out about that. We wanna document the house process the way that we want it to be remembered. We're gonna film
our biggest regret was not filming more, because we were doing daily videos and we really do appreciate the feedback, but we did get a lot of feedback like, oh, it's all it is the house, and so we then would not film the house.
So we definitely want to film it in the way it's like, how do we want it to be remembered? How do we want it to be valuable for you guys? How do we want it to be enjoyable for everyone? And that's the approach that we're gonna take when we film it.
We're really excited. Before December, we were trying to do 2 videos a week. And I think we're going to continue that in the new year, is 2 videos a week, maybe 3, because we are gonna be doing so much of the house and help break it up a little. But thank you for this year.
Thank you
for be patient and to come back and to be supportive and in your comments. Like, I know we say thank you, but it's like we really mean it. Thank you. It's
like, thanks for the grace. Thank you for allowing us to take this bold step for us. And this is a community for us. This is something, a relationship. And we don't say that lightly, we mean that. There are feelings between camera, us, and you that we're sharing. And that's always been really important to us. And we hope that it stays that way. We hope that you feel that connection the same way that we do.
I can't believe how many of you guys have been bold and have moved and have done something crazy. Do you know how many people I have seen in comments or DMs or emails that have said, just so you know, we moved and we took what you did and we're doing the same thing. Or like, we've always wanted to do that and we just bit the bullet and did it. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
I can't believe that.
And it helps.
Happens. Like, that's so sweet and encouraging and exciting.
But I mean, isn't that kind of how we even got started into what would you do if you were afraid? We took somebody else's experience and we're like, look, okay, well, we can do it too. Like, we can be confident in ourselves and do it. And it's like, you guys can do anything. Like, we can. I think that's what's really cool. It's like, be confident and do whatever you need to do to make yourself happy. And it takes a year or longer.
Let's do that even more in 2021.
Thank you guys for watching.
And we'll see you guys in our next video.
Bye, guys.
Bye.